right, here it is. We're going to do a couple of them. We're going to practice two. Now, the other one, it was given to me, but now we're going to come up with some defining characteristics. Some characteristics that are going to help us sketch this graph of the derivative. I'm not looking for something specific. I'm looking for a good general working knowledge. All right, that's what I'm going for here. All right, so what kind of line is that? Oh, my slope is 0. So at that maximum, my slope is 0. This is on the derivative, right? So if I graph the derivative, that is my slope. That is a 0. What's happening down here at this minimum? Again, yes, and back up at that maximum. So do you see what's happening there? So when you have those, that is an x-intercept. So I have an x-intercept here at -3, -1, and 1. So -3, where my slope is 0 here. Let me change my color so you can see the difference between these. -3, -1, and 1. Those are my x-intercepts because my slope is 0. Okay, now generic. All right? If we're looking at this graph, I am going in this direction, right? What is happening to my tangent lines? What kind of slope are they? Positive or negative? Yes, a positive slope. So is that above or below the x-axis? Above. Okay. What's happening over here? Yes, this is a negative slope. So it's going below. And over here, we're back up again. Positive. So it's above. And then down here, it's negative, so it's below. Now, here's the deal. When I am going through this, I know my graph is going to be above the x-axis up here. Then it's going to go below and then hit that intercept again. Then it's going to go above and hit the intercept and then below again. So my graph is above the x-axis. It goes below and then back to the intercept. Then it goes above, back to the intercept, and then it goes below again. Right? Are you catching this? Above, because that's going to be my positive slope. So it's above the x-axis. This one is going below. This one doesn't have a hump in it, but below the x-axis, it's got to come back to hit this x-intercept and this x-intercept. Now, how far below it goes depends on how steep. So if this was a super steep graph, then my number gets really big, right? So then it's a really big negative number. This one doesn't, so it just stays kind of chill right here. I don't care if you know the exact value. I want you to have a good working knowledge. That's the key, right? I need you to be able to look at this graph and say, oh, this is right here where I had that max, so that's an intercept. This is where I had the minimum, so that's an x-intercept. Again, with my maximum over here, so that's my x-intercept. Then my graph is going above and below. So I've got it above right here, then it goes below, it goes above, and again below. All right, above and below that x-axis, depending if it's positive or negative. Okay, this is my graph here of g prime of x. Graph of g prime of x. That is my derivative graph, is in blue. Cool, right? It is very cool. And notice, here's a little tip for you. 1, 2, 3 humps. One up, one down, one up, 3 humps. This now only has 2. It will always be 1 hump less. Okay. All right, and we'll talk more about why that happens. But now it's just nice to look at sometimes so you can see, oh, what is that I have? Okay, let's do another one because I think it's good to practice these, kind of seeing what this is. Okay, here is actually example 6. We're going to sketch the graph of the derivative again. Sketch the graph of the derivative. All right. If it is not continuous, do I have a derivative? No. Right? If it is not continuous, you do not have a derivative. Therefore, at these asymptotes, I don't have a derivative there. I'm going to bring this in a little bit here so we can, maybe if we get a bigger graph, it'll look nice. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, just so that I have some stuff on there. Really, I don't care about my x, or pardon me, my y-axis. I'm going to take those off so they're not confusing. All right, I have a vertical asymptote here at -1. I'm still going to have a vertical asymptote there because I don't, if it's not continuous, I don't have a derivative there. Same thing is happening at 1, right? So at 1, I have that asymptote again. Now, here's what I want to look for. Focus on this. To get above or below the x-axis, look at the slope. That's all I care about. What is that behavior of the graph? Is it a positive slope? Is it a negative slope? That tells you if I'm going above or below. Look at this piece. These, as I'm doing this, what is the slope of those lines? Positive or negative? Negative. So is this going to be above or below that axis? Below. Good, you're getting it. So notice here, this is a pretty flat one, so it's really close up here to the 0. And then the steeper it gets, the farther down it goes. So my graph here for this one is actually going to look pretty similar to my actual graph. Now let's look at that middle part. What are you seeing is happening right here? You got a minimum, people, right? So this tells me my slope is 0, and that's an x-intercept. So that's going to be an x-intercept. What's it about? Like right here. Because it didn't give me something exact. However, this is a negative slope, right? Means it's below. Over here is a positive slope, meaning above. So my negative slope is down below. My positive slope is up above. Right? Oh, above or below. That's what you're looking for. Above or below that axis, look at that slope. What's happening over here? Positive or negative slope? Negative slope. Let me get a different color. Let's go back to blue. Negative slope, meaning above or below. Below. So this graph is going to look more like this. That we're looking. Oh, I changed colors on us, didn't I? That's okay. Below the axis. This one was already below going negative. Just because this one's above, if I'm going left to right, I'm still going in a negative direction. So it has to be below. I start really steep, so I'm way down here at the big numbers, and then I flatten off so I get in smaller numbers for a slope. Look at the slope. That's the key. Look at that slope. I want you to be able to just do kind of a generic of this. Just get a general working knowledge is really what I want you to go for. Is it above or below? Is my slope positive or negative? At a maximum or a minimum, that's where I have those intercepts. All right, those are concepts I want you to tune into. All right, good job, guys. Go give it